Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rebreak Radio, episode 38. Today, if you're watching it now, if you're watching it later, I'm going to cut that out. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 showcase. We're going to be talking about Bethesda spending way too much money on something that I can't really see paying off in the end. And also, we have been playing Super Mario 3D All Stars. And also the Nintendo Direct Mini. So yeah, how are you guys doing today?
I got a saxophone.
He meant that literally, by the way. He has a saxophone now.
Yeah.
I'm all good, my dude. It's
cool.
a normal Wednesday evening. As we call it in Sweden, lill-lördag. Gotta have a good Wednesday evening.
So,
and how are you, Dennis?
Well,
the important question here.
I'm pretty good. I'm doing well.
Good.
I didn't have time to make tea, so that was not great. So I am tealess right now, which is not the best situation. But I'm pretty good. I had a lecture in game design yesterday. That was pretty fun. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm playing a lot of Breath of the Wild right now, which is why I haven't been playing Mario 3D All Stars. But I
mean, there are worse reasons to not play 3D All Stars than saying I'm playing Breath of the Wild currently. Although this is like your third time through or something.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
I was gonna call you a nerd, but I'm also my third time through, and I have gotten the fully upgraded Master Sword because I'm an idiot.
I never had time to play that game. I completed it once and I never touched it again because I got other games to play. Yeah.
That's fair. So, well, let's get right into our first news story. So, the PlayStation 5 showcase. Wow, that was a large lighting difference on me there.
Bright side.
Right, yeah. You brighten up.
So yeah, the PlayStation 5 showcase happened. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. So, what did you guys think about it?
Well, it had Final Fantasy 16 in it, and that should say like a lot. Because both me and Leo, we love our Final Fantasy. Leo probably loves it more than I, because I played a grand total of 2 games.
Yep, I woke up my whole neighborhood. I probably woke up the whole town screaming in excitement
when they announced 16.
Yeah, when they announced Final Fantasy 16, because the trailer looks really sick. I love the.
It looks very 14.
Yeah,
that's fun fact about that. It's the director and producer of 14 that is the producer, I want to say, of this game. Yeah. And like the design team for the story and gameplay, whatever, is the design team for the first expansion for 14, which is the Heaven's Port expansion, which is luckily one of the, in quotation mark, best expansions for Final Fantasy 14. So we are in luck there.
Yeah, and also I like that they're actually going back to the true like high fantasy settings, because before there's always been like some magical tech involved in Final Fantasy games. After what is it, like Final Fantasy 5 or 6? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been very like steampunk.
Yeah, and I love that they are actually now going back to the actual the actual fantasy aspects, but I don't know, maybe they have some kind of magical mech things somewhere in the game, but because in the
has it right, like the Empire has the Magitech whatever
yeah, it's like there's always something in the Final Fantasy games that has some kind of tech in it. Yeah. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure, but what I could see in the trailer, hopefully it will be true fantasy.
Yeah, it looked that way. So
it's less like high fantasy that
it's like medieval fantasy.
Yeah, it's dark fantasy is the technical term for it. But like when I associate Final Fantasy with high fantasy, like elves and magic and whatever, this seems a lot more grounded. Even though there's a phoenix and Shiva and a titan and a Ifrit probably, which is like are huge. So it's not that grounded, but it seems more like Witcher-esque in its storytelling, so to speak, or the world and the narrative and whatever. Which I'm open for it, like whatever. I like when they try something new.
So, I don't think they had any kind of like that kind of story style in a Final Fantasy game. I think I'm not really sure. I haven't played all of the Final Fantasy games, but so I can't really vouch for that. But it really feels different from what they are used to when they make the story for a Final Fantasy game.
Definitely very like fantasy, I guess. But from this trailer, like note at this point in time, we have one trailer that's like
exactly.
I don't know, 5 minutes long at most. I don't remember the exact like length of it, but there's one trailer, so we can just base it on that. But it seems a lot more like war story like, and less like we're gonna focus on this mad clown that wants to become god and destroy everything and what have you. So, but we'll see what's gonna come. It looks interesting, and they're taking the combat system from 15 that they refined in the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I really liked it in the remake, in the 7 remake, but I really didn't in 15. So hopefully we have a really tight action combat system. And since they've brought in, I don't remember exactly who, but some really like important person for the Devil May Cry combat system.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Brought him in
someone
to make the combat for this.
On Devil May Cry is working on it this time, which makes it sound pretty interesting to me. Because that means they're putting a lot of focus on it, on a cool combat system.
Yeah.
I am just a bit upset about trying to look up exactly who it is, and there's just a bunch of news sites, like gaming news site, putting out false articles or like clickbait articles, and I don't get the information. But yeah, there's one of the key members for the Devil May Cry combat is behind this combat system. So, I mean, I think we're in pretty safe hands because you can say a lot of the Devil May Cry, but the combat system is always good.
Yeah.
At least to some degree. But yeah, it's exciting. I look forward to more information about that. We also have some more stuff that Dennis is probably more interested in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, so we also saw we saw some more footage from Spider-Man Miles Morales, which looks really cool. In that like slow walk thing in the beginning, we saw some really impressive visuals on Showcase, like ray trace reflections, which is pretty sweet. There were rumors, or no, they had said beforehand that they were going to be using ray tracing for puddles in the game, which sure. I mean, if they can put it on the buildings too, that would be the cooler part, because I think the biggest lacking feature of Spider-Man's the visuals in the first Spider-Man was definitely the windows of all the buildings, because the second you just take a second to look a little bit closer, and you can see that it's not a real reflection. But when you just swing through, like it works. But yeah, we'll see if they have those reflections on the windows as well.
I think is with the Miles Morales game, I can make my radiator PlayStation 5 actually become a radiator.
I mean, the PlayStation 5 is not supposed to be very loud or hot. That's why it's so huge.
I hope that it's quiet and not like this computer I have now that's just a pile of garbage that like reaches radiator levels temperatures if I do anything on it. But yeah, it looked interesting. I like that they're taking, at least I interpret it in that way, that they're taking a lot of keynotes from Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse. Yeah. I'm bad at pronouncing sometimes, but yeah, just the whole thing about it's Miles Morales in winter in Christmas season, and that just kind of from that thing I get the feeling like they're gonna look at what did Spider-Verse do for Miles Morales and can try to use that because Spider-Verse, it's a good movie.
It is a incredible movie.
Yeah, it's like it was the best movie I saw 2018 probably.
I mean, The Last Jedi came out the same year.
No.
No,
but yeah,
wait,
I do.
No, it was 2017, so you passed.
It doesn't matter, it's a bad movie. But anyway, I hope they take notes from Into the Spider-Verse and what made Miles Morales a good character there, and just try to transfer it to this game. And I also wonder, because it's a year after the original Spider-Man game for the PlayStation 4, so I wonder how they're gonna build in the dynamic of two Spider-Men in the city.
Yeah.
We also know there are multiple superheroes because, for one, Spider-Man or Peter Parker references the Avengers.
Yeah, and there is a huge Avengers tower, and we can see the Doctor Strange place. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, so there are multiple heroes, but I'm just wondering what happens with Peter Parker in this game. Where it's gonna be? Is it just gonna not be there, or is it gonna be like? I just hope that he's some kind of like mentor-ish character.
Yeah, my theory is that this game is going to focus entirely on Miles, and if we see Peter is going to be in a, as you said, like a mentor role. I don't think we're going to see both of them in action until Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because they have said that this is not a true sequel.
No, it's expansive. It's an expansion pack, basically. But I want a more dynamic relationship building between Miles and Peter, because I like the relationship in the original, because Peter was like a big brother kind of figure to Miles after events that I'm not gonna talk about because spoilers. But yeah, he becomes like a big brother type figure, and I enjoy that. And it's kind of like it's a cute thing to have.
Yeah.
So I hope they continue to build on that in the game. But I mean, if you liked Spider-Man and want more, yeah, you should probably just pick this up. And they're releasing it for the PlayStation 4 2, if I wanna.
Yeah, this is also a PS4 game.
So
and there were some weird things that they revealed as well. They are making a remastered version of Spider-Man for PlayStation 5, but that version will not let you move your saves from the PS4 version. So that's a bit weird.
That sounds really weird.
Yeah.
But other than that, like what we see in the trailer, I like what I see. It's like they implement this like electrical powers, or I think it's a gadget he has that gives him. Like,
it's Miles Morales has like some. It's called like the Venom Blast or something like that. It's like a power that only he has. And he also has like invisibility, which
that
I don't know how he got that from a spider. Like I don't think it makes much sense, but he has it.
They're experimented on spiders, so I mean, spiders in real life don't have the Spidey sense or the Peter tingle or whatever you want to call it. They have like, sure, they can see stuff. They react to stuff faster. They see stuff in slow motion. Basically, that's about. I'm not a spider person, and I'm like mildly arachnophobic, so I don't really like stuff about spider. I like Spider-Man though. I just don't like spiders.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, so they're taking liberties. But if you looked at Into the Spider-Verse, I think the Miles at the ending when he's embraced being Spider-Man. That's probably what we're gonna get, but in a game format now. He probably, and I know because people are talking about, oh, why didn't they show this in the movie? He has more powers in the comics scene, but there are a million comics out there, so they have to probably use the most popular version, which is at least the most accessible version. It's gonna be the movie version because that's the thing most people know. But yeah, it looks like the combat system is more of an evolved version of this. But we should probably continue so we don't waste 2 hours on PlayStation 5 showcase.
Yeah. So next up was a game that had been like leaked and rumored for a long time, and we finally saw it, which was Harry Potter. Well, it wasn't called Harry Potter actually. It was just called Hogwarts
Legacy. Yeah.
Which is the long rumored Harry Potter RPG. So this looks really, really cool. Basically, it's set in the late 1800s, and it seems like you are just going to be able to go to Hogwarts as like your own character, basically.
Yeah, I think this is a game that most of the Harry Potter fans has wanted for a long, long time. Like since Harry Potter was established as a book series, people probably have wanted this. And I can say, I mean, there are role plays with Harry Potter, and this is more or less a wet dream for them.
Professional role playing Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
I also like that they didn't spend the entire trailer at Hogwarts either. Like it looks like we're going to be doing like missions off the castle. Castle, I guess. Do you call it a castle?
Castle.
The school.
Off the school area. So
yeah. It looks like there will be like dungeon elements. What I could see, like you explore caves and all that stuff.
Personally, I'm not super like into Harry Potter. I've read the books. I liked them when I was younger, but I also have my opinions, and I am biased. So I'm gonna say that a positive thing for me is the whole minimal J.K. Rowling input. Because then it might actually be not upsetting.
What if we see a wizard stand in the corner and poop his pants, and then he does a little thing and it goes away?
God damn it. You rule Hogwarts uni experience.
But yeah, but there's not like a lot of information about it. It looks like the problem with this game for me is like it looks like a lot of other games, but you're in the Harry Potter world now instead. And the problem is I don't really care about those types of games to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter, but I think that the world of Harry Potter, the setting in Harry Potter is really interesting. I do agree that maybe the movies are kind of overrated in some parts, and I haven't seen them in a really long time, so I don't remember. The only one I remember clearly is the first one because I saw it like 10 times when I was a kid, if not even more. But it's like I think the setting is so fitting for these kind of games, and I think it if they do it right, it will probably be like a pretty good game.
Yeah. And we should probably continue so we can get in some other. There were a lot of like, PlayStation. They had like Call of Duty, but I don't think anyone has an opinion on that.
Yeah,
they had new cool game Deathloop.
Call of Duty. 5. I was surprised when I saw Call of Duty. Like that sequence was pretty cool, but I'm not really like a first-person shooter fan. But in the beginning, I was like, okay, it's pretty standard Call of Duty, and then like, okay, now we're in a car, and then the RC car drops, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool.
So I'm gonna break the bubble for you. That's not actually something new for the Call of Duty franchise. They had those kind of sequence before in the campaign mode, if I remember correctly. because I played some of the Call of Duty games back in the days, and I remember there being like you had like the car you drew. So what I know from Call of Duty games, especially the campaigns, they're very heavily scripted, and there's not like probably what they showed right there is probably the only thing you can do in that campaign. Actually,
personally, I like Call of Duty as a shooter game. I don't really care for the story because the longer the more games that has been created, the more it has been America good, Russia bad, and I just don't vibe.
Yeah, now it's placed. Now
I don't care about the story.
Yeah, now it plays out in the Cold War also, which is like the basic American history war thing.
So I don't really care, but I hope that people who care about Call of Duty get a game they like. They have the zombie mode, so if you like the zombie mode, you can just pick that up. I think they have tried to play, or people have been able to play it like a prototype demo version or whatever on PlayStation. I want to remember they had some test thing, but yeah.
So Resident Evil Village. This is Resident Evil 8, and I've recently played Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake, and I love both of those games. Those are great. I will never, ever, ever play Resident Evil 7 or 8 because I can't deal with this horror first-person perspective. Mr. X and Nemesis were bad enough. 7 has a whole family of Mr. X kind of NPCs walking around a house. Like, I'm good, you know? Like, I'm not gonna deal with this shit.
I'm good, fam.
I'm good, fam, you know?
I hate horror games. I'm very, very bad with scary games. This is such a niche opinion, but the only thing I'm upset about Resident Evil 8 is that it's not Bloodborne 2. Because to quote I don't remember who it was, but there was a guy who put up on Twitter, if you showed me these screenshots and said this is Bloodborne 2, I would 100% believe you. And I just look at the screenshot like, I agree. And I'm upset that this isn't the truth. But yeah, I like if it looks like a more cultish, less zombie version of Resident Evil 7. So if you like that game, it's like they have Chris and they have the dude that you play in Resident Evil 7.
The dude.
I haven't. I've seen the start, and that traumatized me for a while, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not so much for horror games as of they're scary. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna play this. I know it's gonna be scary. I know the jump scare is there somewhere. I'm not interested, more or less. That's like the thing. Like, I know a lot of people think like Amnesia is scary, but I think it's just you just get stressed out as fuck because something is up in your ass chasing you.
Yeah.
It's an exciting game. So what you're saying is you're not excited for the new Five Nights at Freddy's game?
No, I don't care.
Five Nights at Freddy's makes me excited only because my entire experience of Five Nights at Freddy's is watching game theories breakdowns of those games.
Yeah,
and they are entertaining as hell. So
that's the only good about it.
Yeah, so like when they announce a new Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's like, we get some more game theory videos.
I stopped watching the game theories, so Five Nights at Freddy's has nothing to give me. And they had a jump scare in the trailer, and that's like, fuck you. That's not okay.
What was the jump scare? I didn't even notice.
In the end, the typical, it's a spooky doll thing.
Oh, what's his name?
That comes up in his
screen.
That's
Glitch Trap, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Glitch
Whatever.
Trap.
I'm never gonna play the game. I'm not gonna watch people play the game. I have never cared for that series. Yeah. I found it entertaining that the game theorist and whatever the guy's name that makes them, they basically gave each other free money. Because he continued making game, and the game theorists continued making theories that made people buy the game, so he made more game. Whatever.
That is a smart loop. Someone should try to do.
They line each other's pockets.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, what about Deathloop? What do you guys think about that game?
Deathloop is just, I don't really care about it.
It's weird.
I think it looks like a Dishonored game, more or less.
Actually, conceptually, from what I understand, it seems that it's this kind of time loop game where you have to kill a bunch of targets, but then the loop restarts, and you have to find a way to kill them all before the time ends. I think that video really needed a narrator, because this in-universe explanation of what the hell is going on did nothing for this game.
I thought the game or the trailer before that explained it a little bit better. It was still confusing, but it was like you understand, well, okay, you're doing this part, you failed, you go back or something like that, or you did something wrong, you need to go back and do things over again.
Yeah, it's, as I understand it, it's a game where every NPC has a schedule, and they will do the same thing every time, and you will have to find a way to be able to kill all your targets, like you've said. I don't really care for it personally.
I think
it looks like one of those
I like that premise, but I just don't really. I'm just not really into first-person shooters that much.
Yeah,
but
I think
maybe it'll be cool.
Yeah, I think it looks interesting. I like the setting of it all, and also the part that it actually reminds me a lot of Dishonored, and I like Dishonored, so it's gonna, for me, it's at least I'm gonna watch some more and wait for probably reviews from it before I get it, at least. But,
so let's do a little fast little.
There are 3 more important stuff in this showcase.
Yeah, anyways. So let's just turbo through a few things here. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, cool.
You get one new dude. That's all.
Yeah, the really cool thing about that is that they fixed basically RE Engine's biggest problem, which was the reflections, because now they use ray tracing. So cool. Now the RE Engine still is the most beautiful engine that has ever been made.
Yeah.
Oddworld Soulstorm looks like the most beautiful Unity game ever made.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It looks incredible.
It sounded like such a the most beautiful.
I mean, if
Unity game.
If you didn't know that this was made in Unity, would you believe that?
I mean, I don't really try to see, this is made in Unreal or Unity.
Yeah, but like Unity.
The only reason
really
I know a game is
so
made in Unreal is if they have that weird ass square checkered thing where it's not textured. That's the only reason I know a game is made in Unreal.
Okay.
Except for the whole, it's made in Unreal or whatever.
Then we saw an extended gameplay sequence of Demon's Souls, which
woohoo.
I know people love these games, but like this, he literally just walked through a hallway and one hit killed a bunch of enemies. Like, is this what Dark Souls is?
It's literally the start of the game.
Okay.
This is like the first area, because I haven't played Demon's Souls, but I know the general gist. And like the starting area always has those really, really weak, I don't know what they're called in Demon's Souls, but in Dark Souls they're called hollows. They have these really weak one-shot enemies, and then they have, in this case, a big boss that will fucking own you, because that's the point.
Yeah. And I also think that the what they wanted to show in that gameplay reveal was more or less the graphics.
Like, and the load times, which are non-existent.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was like the whole premise of it, because you couldn't see any UI in the gameplay like at all. So I think the whole premise was just to just to say, hey, look how nice we improved the graphics and all of those hardcore. I watched some reactions from some hardcore old players that has played this game, and they were like, wait, is that something new? They're like, they noticed some new things that was not in the original game.
I think they also want to show that they're paying attention to the original and actually remaking it, and not just we're gonna make a Demon Souls remake and it's just whatever. They actually, I haven't played it, but I'm guessing they also want to show that it's the same game but vastly fucking improved.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is Bluepoint making this game. Like, Bluepoint is famous for making incredible remasters and remakes of games. Like, they made the Shadow of the Colossus remake. They made plenty of like remasters, like they did the Uncharted collection and all of these. Like, in that, they even like they updated the graphics of Uncharted 1 to look even better. Like, they do a lot of really good work, and this is basically going to be the most optimized and the most beautiful Souls game, and I would be surprised if From Software's actual next Souls-like game will be more beautiful than this. If anything, they should just go to Bluepoint and like, hey, can we get your engine? Thank you. Because their engine is terrible.
Maybe they have. Who knows? We know absolutely nothing about Elden Ring, and I'm like everyone else, a dried up husk, just waiting for news. But yeah, to continue, we had that, and then we had
PlayStation Plus collection. So this one is pretty interesting. This just every PlayStation 5 owner that has PlayStation Plus will be able to play this entire collection of games for free. And there are some real bangers in there, like The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5, God of War, Final Fantasy 15. Like, they call it like the best games of the generation for free, basically, and I 100% agree.
Here are the following games: God of War, Bloodborne, yes, that's the best game. Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat 10, Uncharted 4, Ratchet & Clank, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7. So it's basically the games that were the most popular and the best.
The games that people bought PlayStation 4s to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like, you buy that and you're set. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna help. Like, if you didn't have a PlayStation 4 and you buy a PlayStation 5 at launch, the fact that there's like a pretty low amount of launch games is not gonna bother you because you have this entire collection.
That's at least like the best deal you can get if you never touch a PS4 and you're considering getting a PS5.
Yeah.
If you can get a PS5 at this point.
I got a pre-order.
Good. Oh, I'm gonna go over and play it when you get it.
I'm gonna trash your place and see how it is.
Hey, I said I was gonna bring over my VR kit and you can try the VR on the PlayStation 5.
I really want to do that. I bought that Astrobot game because I was gonna borrow your VR and then
that's
COVID
true,
happened.
And then coronavirus happened, and now I'm fucking 900 kilometers away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the last thing I want to know, if you're gonna to everyone live, if you're going to play Uncharted 4 in this collection, do yourself a favor and play the original trilogy first. You can thank me later. Cool. Okay, now for the big news that dropped.
Two stuff.
Yeah, two things. First off, the price. And I just want to humble brag that I was right.
Of course, he will humble brag. Humble brag.
So back in June, I predicted that the Series S would cost $299, the PS5 Digital Edition would be $399, the PS5 would be $499, and the Series X would be $599. That's the only one I was wrong about. The Series X is in fact $499. So 3 out of 4, pretty good.
I'm not surprised at the prices. I'm just happy it's not higher.
There's literally nowhere else they could have gone but lower.
They could have gone PlayStation 3 and just, hey, we gotta sell it for $700 or whatever it was.
Yeah, like they could have only gone down. Like if they would have priced the digital edition at the same price as the Series S, they would have literally murdered Microsoft on the spot.
Poor Microsoft.
Because they would have offered a 4K console for the same price as their 1440p box. But yeah, Sony would also probably die out of financial issues after that. So it wouldn't be such a smart choice. But that would have definitely given them a huge step up in the generation. But these are some very good prices. I think $100 delta between the digital edition and the physical edition is a very good choice, because for the ones that want the disc drive, it's not that big of an investment to put in, but the people who don't care about it, they also save a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
money for the games, for when the biggest announcement of the thing, when that comes out, we will have the money for it.
Money for the games, because the games are more expensive now. And
that's a thing.
And over here in Europe, it's even worse.
Yep.
We got
them taxes.
800 Swedish kronor for my new Demon's Souls game.
Yes.
That's gonna be happy. That's gonna be exciting, because that makes me totally want to buy a PlayStation.
So the last announcement of that show was God of War Ragnarok, which, when that soundtrack hits, it's just like, that theme is so good. I'm really excited for that. If you played the original, or not the original God of War, but the God of War reboot, but it's not even a reboot either, it's a sequel, but the new God of War for PlayStation 4. Ragnarok makes a lot of sense to you because you know who shows up at the end.
Yep.
I mean, if you know about Norse mythology, there's only one way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna spoil anything, because God of War is a good game.
Yeah, you should play it. I'm honestly pretty surprised that Ragnarok is already happening. Like, I would have assumed the third one in the series to be Ragnarok.
We can talk more later, because if I say why it's logical, it would be a spoiler.
Okay.
But it is, just trust me when I say it's logical.
Okay.
There's no other way they could have gone. If they didn't introduce time travel, and we all know how time travel works in games. It doesn't.
So one thing I want to speculate a little bit about with God of War Ragnarok is because the God of War on PS4 had a very interesting world structure. Like, they had this it was the Bifrost, right, in the middle. Yeah. And you could see all the different realms, but some of them were inaccessible. So here is my theory. I think God of War Ragnarok will reuse the world of the original and simply build upon it. So you will, in Ragnarok, you will go back to the worlds of the first game and do new things, but it will be the same place. Because it looks, just the way that they presented, like, all of the realms, but they weren't, you couldn't go to them, made it feel to me that they were trying to create this, like, persistent world that flows through all of the games.
I mean, there were like 5 worlds you could visit, and it was Alfheim, Helheim, and Alfheim, Helheim, Jotunheim, LOL, Muspelheim, and Niflheim. And Muspelheim and Niflheim are like challenge places. Helheim and Alfheim, aside from the Earth, or Midgard, or whatever you want to call it, those are the 3 big story places that you do stuff in, and Jotunheim is like that's the goal. Muspelheim is, like I said, it's a challenge. It's a combat challenge thing that you have to do if you want to complete the game, which fucking sucks. And then you have Niflheim. I said Niflheim, but it's either Niflheim or Nilfheim. I don't remember.
It's Niflheim.
Probably Niflheim. Yeah, this site has of misspelling them, but yeah, that's more like a challenge thing to get gear or whatever. So they were like, you have Svartalfheim, which is Alfheim, but the darker version because it has dark elves in it. Those weird bug things that swarms you in Alfheim. And then you have what's it called? The not up there, not Asgard. It's another place where the other gods resides. There's another place that you probably would visit. The place that Freya is tied to, because there's Aegir and there's another type of god.
Yeah,
I think in Norse mythology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leo. So, yes, these are the realms of Norse mythology because God of War takes place in Norse mythology.
Yeah, boy. Sorry, I got a bit into it. Yeah. I like my Norse mythology.
But okay, let's move on to the next news story. We're all pretty excited about PlayStation, so let's talk about now PlayStation. So, Microsoft dropped some pretty big news that they are buying Cinemax, or well, they didn't. They bought Cinemax because they had to. What they really wanted is Bethesda. So they wanted Bethesda's, and I would assume they went to Cinemax and like, hey, can we buy Bethesda? And they were like, no, okay, so we're just gonna buy you instead. So they bought the entirety of Cinemax Media for $7.5 billion in cash. And you would think your immediate reaction, which everyone's immediate reaction was like, okay, cool, Doom and Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls, and like Fallout, and all these franchises are now going to be Xbox exclusives. No, they're not. Because Bethesda will still, similarly to Mojang, will still kind of be its own entity within Microsoft. They're kind of distanced from Xbox.
Yeah, because if you look at Minecraft is in all platforms. Like, if you buy any platforms existing in the market, you're gonna be able to buy Minecraft for that platform.
Yeah. So I don't really like it. Microsoft must have some kind of long-term plan that we can't see right now. But right now, it just looks like they spent $7.5 billion on getting Bethesda's games in Game Pass. Like, there has to be something more to this.
Who knows? Like, for example, I can't really compare it to when they bought Mojang, because that was also... That wasn't as... I was gonna say it wasn't as big. It was fucking $4 billion. But when they bought Mojang, they bought it for Minecraft because that's the biggest game on the planet. And as you say, they're probably, because Doom and Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series, they aren't as big even combined as Minecraft. But they are getting a lot of stuff though. They're getting a fuckload of stuff, and people love these games.
Yeah. It's just like these games are still going to be, or at least in the near future, they're at least still going to be on PlayStation and on Switch. And there are even 2 games like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. There are still PlayStation 5 exclusives that are being released by Microsoft in the near future, which is pretty funny. But yeah, Curly, in the chat, Curly Studios, you are talking about Game Pass, which, yeah, like, I have some theories about Game Pass right now. So there was a pretty funny tweet by Dieter Bohn from The Verge, who said that basically, remember when we started, like, all these internet live TV services like YouTube TV, PlayStation View, I think it's called. They were all pretty cheap at one point, and they're like, "Oh, this is the future of TV." And then they got really expensive, and he was like, "Anyway, Games Pass is really inexpensive." So, yeah, I think what Microsoft is doing right now, and it was a very tactical choice to reveal these news the day before pre-orders opened for the new consoles. Microsoft is specifically losing a shit ton of money right now to get people to buy the Xbox consoles and get people to subscribe to Game Pass, and then sometime probably next year when they already have a huge user base of people and a lot more good press, contrary from the Xbox One generation, then they're going to increase the price, because I cannot see how this is going to be realistically possible to run on its own. I mean, Microsoft has a lot of money from like Windows and Microsoft Office and stuff, but it still has to be able to run on its own, you know? And I can't really see how they're going to be able to budget a bunch of AAA games per month with a $15 a month subscription.
Who knows?
Yeah,
like,
who knows?
I don't even think that the people working on Xbox, like outside of the super high up people, even have a clue what's going on. Because if I was working at Xbox, like, why aren't we doing anything? Why are we just posting a Game Pass kind of deal? But we'll see. We'll see. They probably have like one of those higher plans.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this. I don't really care, because it's not really going to impact me at all. It seems like I'm still gonna be able to play Doom Eternal on... Well, I haven't bought Doom Eternal yet, but I mean, the next Wolfenstein or whatever is still gonna be able to come to the platforms that I play on, so...
Nintendo nerds. We're not Xbox nerds.
Yeah.
Get out of here with Halo, we play Splatoon.
Okay, anyways. so now Leo can go insane about the Direct Mini and Monster Hunter.
My God.
Boy, I'm so freaking excited for this. It felt like this Nintendo Direct was aimed towards me, because there was, like, in the beginning they showed Monster Hunter. At the beginning, when they showed the dog running, it reminded me from another game. It's called Tales of Vesperia. There's like a character, it's a dog character there that's playable in that game, and I thought it was that character. I was like, wait, is that game? Well, no, that can't be. And then I saw Monster Hunter, and I was freaking out.
Yeah,
I was
thinking when I was watching it, like, oh yeah, Leo is having a heart attack right now.
Yeah, so I fucking nerd. I had a good time. Like, it was like, this is amazing. Oh, look at those graphics on a Switch. Oh my God, you can do that? Wait, you can do that? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they have this new, like, kind of more action style Breath of the Wild climbing.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. That blew my mind. I was like, "Whoa, are they really gonna go more open-ended with exploring in the game?" While the exploring is kind of open-ended, it's still designed in a way that you're limited to where you can go.
They also said that this will be a seamless world, like Monster Hunter World is, and not like segmented like the 3DS games.
Yeah, exactly. And after that, they took a nuke and dropped Monster Hunter Stories 2, and I was like, I was dead. I was dead on the floor. It was like, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Nintendo, you won my heart. PlayStation 5 can wait. It can wait a couple of years before I consider getting that, because I got a Switch. All I need is to get games. I want these games. I want them now. Please give me Monster Hunter. I love Monster Hunter.
I maybe you know exactly what Monster Hunter Stories is, but I didn't. And as I've understood it, it's Pokemon but with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, it looks.
Yeah.
If I were to play a Monster Hunter game, it would be Stories.
Yeah.
It looks more interesting to me.
Yeah, a lot. There's been like controversially hate towards Stories, but it's because it's not really a Monster Hunter game. It's more or less like you said. It is kind of a turn-based Pokemon, but with Monster Hunter instead.
It's a game in the Monster Hunter world.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Stories. I played the demo. I still have the game on my shelf. I haven't played it fully yet, but now I've got more excitement to play it, so that I can actually get Stories 2 and play that also. But yeah, more Monster Hunter for me, I guess. Me and my friends has hyped up, and we played more or less Monster Hunter World the whole weekend because of this trailer.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait for this game to get out. And one thing I really like what I saw from the trailer, it's like I like the new monsters that they're gonna throw out. I also I like the new thing. Like in Monster Hunter World, you have the clutch claw where you can grab on monsters and climb higher on places and stuff. And here it seems like you have some kind of an insect like friend or insect like gadget with you, which can help you get to higher places. Yeah, it's like a bug that helps you like get to places and fight. There's even mechanics with it in the combat with it. And I'm
to buy Monster Hunter Rise and never be able to play it with you because you're playing with your friends.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna sit there and cry because you're the only person I know that plays the game.
Yeah, it's called the wire bug.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, I should hook you up when I play Monster Hunter next time. But yeah. So yeah, big hype for that game for me. As we speak, I'm still on the floor, dead physically, and this is just my soul speaking through through the podcast.
Magic was used.
Yes.
So I don't think we're going to be talking about all the things in this direct, but one of the pretty big news was Ori and the Will of the Wisps dropping that day. So it's already out on Switch. I have Ori and the Blind Forest on my Switch. I never finished it. I didn't really get very far in it either. But yeah, I do want to finish it because I heard a lot of really good things about it. It looks gorgeous. So yeah, I'll probably get back to it at some point.
I mean, if you like Hollow Knight, you're gonna like Ori and Will of the Wisp or the Ori games also, I think.
Curly, you can't tell me to finish Ori until you've finished Hollow Knight. So
exactly. So fair enough.
So then it was like Fitness Boxing 2, which is like, okay, who cares? Disgaea 6, does anyone care about that?
It's scary because you can get a max level of 999 million.
Yeah.
I asked my friend who actually plays that game, and she was like, the max level I got there was 99. Like, the max level in this game is 999 million.
Yeah, I haven't played these games myself, but I own some of them. I haven't tried them yet, but this guy is kind of those kind of games that's all about the numbers. You want to see like the big numbers and animations,
which
it's
sounds
all about...
like if there's an opposite of up my alley, that's
where this
goes.
You will probably hate this guy because even I am scared of that game, and I like numbers in games at least. But it's also, from what I remember, this guy is like infamous for being the longest games you can play if you want to complete them, because they're like hilariously fucking complicated to get stuff in that game, in those games.
It's not a casual game, that's for sure.
It's got scary game.
So then we had Hades dropping on Switch.
That's a good game. Play that game.
I think it's released like on all platforms, or at least most of them.
It's like the 1.0 update, so it's officially released.
Okay. Yeah, it's officially released.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a really good game. I am upset that I can't play it because I have it on PC and this bucket can't run it. But yeah, when I played it, I really enjoyed what I played with it. I just didn't have time to actually play a lot of it, but I want to sit down and play a lot of it, and I'm gonna do that later. It's out completely now, so I have the whole game.
It's a roguelike, so I don't really know if it's up my alley really.
You should try it because it's a Supergiant game, and Supergiant makes really, really good games.
I played Bastion, and I never really fell for it.
I mean, all of their games are different. They're completely different.
Yeah, what I heard from one of my friends who is a big fan of Supergiant games is that they basically took most of the tropes from all of the previous games and threw it. Like they took all the best parts from the previous games and threw it into this game. So,
the biggest overlapping thing is that they have like super serious, as in they care about the world narrators for each games.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Otherwise, like Bastion is its own kind of action RPG. I don't remember the game afterwards, it's really good, but it's kind of like a strategy
Transistor.
RPG. Transistor, which has some really cool, it's a really cool aesthetic. The music is awesome. The music is always awesome. But it has this really cool aesthetic, and they tried to make something unique with the strategy thing. And then the game after that, Pyre, is a super beautiful dodgeball game. / football game / basketball game. And now they have Hades, which is a roguelike action, high octane, get your adrenaline high game based on Greek mythology. But yeah, it's like Supergiant makes unique games. That's like the thing I can say about them.
Then we had Empire of Sin, which I don't really have anything to say about it. Sniper Elite 4 is getting a port for Switch. PGA Tour 2K21.
I'm excited for that.
It's
The Long Dark.
I don't remember nothing from this.
Balan Wonderworld, I mean.
Oh yeah, that looks whack.
And then now we're gonna let Leo go off about Rune Factory 5 for
yep.
Weed.
Yes.
It's basically like a life simulator kind of thing in like a medieval environment, and you can get a girlfriend and get married and
so it's a fantasy it's a fantasy setting with what you explained right now. So and you have like these RPG elements where you go on dungeons and farm monsters and I am playing right now Rune Factory 4 and I'm loving it so far. The only thing I have problems with is the fucking furniture management, because there's no way for me to place the furnitures in a good way. All you do, you get your character to pick up the furnitures and then you have to place them down wherever the character is standing. There's no Sims 4 snap functions or grid based function in that. It's like, try and place it there. I don't know. It's probably gonna clip through the wall. I don't give a shit. That's the only problem I have with it right now. But yeah, you're living your life in a town. You get to know the townsfolk, and then you have this kind of, you can get relationships with other characters, like with these characters living in this town. and then you have these RPG elements where you go around, explore dungeons, and then there's a story, even though the story ain't that special, but it's still it's something at least.
As far as I understand it, it's kind of like Harvest Moon / Stardew Valley-esque game with a not a light, but like it's 50% Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, 50% an action RPG.
Yeah,
kinda.
Exactly.
And you can get married. I like games where you build relationships with other characters. Like,
yeah,
a big part of this is another completely different game, but a big part of Fire Emblem for me is the interpersonal relationships. So that's a big thing that I like. And sure, if I can marry my waifu, I guess that's okay too. Or a husband, though.
Yeah,
but I don't roll that way, but from what I understand, you can marry whoever you want. So
I'm not sure about 5, but in 4 there are some restrictions. For example,
it's RPG, so why am I surprised?
But there are some restrictions, like you can't have for the same sex, which is kind of sad, I think. But it's an old game. It's an older game. The Rune Factory 4 came out for the 3DS, so and in that time it wasn't as usual, like casually, to have same-sex marriages. I hope that 5 will have that, because I think it's cool that games start to have open up with these kind of things. Whenever it is like whatever. But
I think you're looking for the word inclusive.
Yeah.
It's inclusive to have this stuff, and that's like, it's a problem just in general with JRPGs, because Japan has a very their culture. They have every culture, they have good and bad stuff, and one of the bad stuff they have is that they're not super open about like this type of stuff.
Yeah,
but we can hope that
we can already see like in Fire Emblem that they're trying to open up a bit more about
it. Didn't though.
Yeah, they didn't, but they're trying, but they're not trying hard enough. Yeah. So, so there are some limitations in Rune Factory 4, but there are also some limitations that actually make sense. Like some of the characters are actually already married, or one of them are like it's a woman that's already has a child. You can marry her child, but you can't marry her. So
that's
but you're like
Japan.
Yeah, but the child is in the same age as your character.
Okay,
so
that makes more sense.
Yeah, so she is much older than you. So it makes less sense to marry the mother than the child.
Okay. So Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Carl, you have been spending a lot of time with it.
More than you have.
I was supposed to play more of it. I did jump into 64 and Sunshine, but I realize now that I should have probably jumped into Galaxy as well, just to feel how the pointer feels in this version. But generally they're pretty much the same games anyway. So
yeah.
How do you feel about this this collection? How do these games fare now?
In my nostalgia mode, and like that's about it. I mean, it's the same games. They do the same stuff. There are some problem with like Sunshine and like now I'm speaking strictly for the ports and not the games, but for the ports. So Sunshine, for example, have a different controller layout now. So, and they also had voice acting for the controller. So they have, instead of you press the Z button, you press the button.
yeah, I did get that far. So
yeah, and I know like button. There's some people, because for some reason there's like a circle of people that just are anti Nintendo. So they were like, oh, look at Nintendo, he's trying to catch us, whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm happy to play Sunshine on my Switch. But yeah, there are some limitations or just some stuff that didn't really translate well. And Sunshine's voice acting, for example, is that because it's the same, and they couldn't really update stuff that needed to be updated because they probably couldn't find or didn't have the reason, whatever. And there are some like smaller stuff that makes me feel like this wasn't something they focused on because it's a port, and they probably don't really want to put the main Mario team on the porting. They probably put a porting team on the porting.
Yeah, this was done by the European Nintendo European Research and Development, which is short for NERD, which I think is very funny. It's the same team that did NES Classic and SNES Classic.
Yeah, so they aren't. They're developers, but they're not like classical developers. So there are gonna be stuff.
They basically focused on emulation.
Yeah,
because these are emulated. These are emulated versions. These are not ports. They're running through emulators. Except kind of Galaxy. Galaxy was actually recompiled to run on Switch, but all the graphics is emulated. It's very weird.
I read more about this because I don't really have a big clue. I'm just like, I've gotten to a point where I'm not jaded. I'm happy I can play 64 and Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy on my Switch. Because, like, sure, I can play 64 by emulating it or whatever. Everyone has that capability.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do it if you haven't done it earlier or whatever. Sunshine is harder to get because you can play it on the GameCube and the Wii. And good luck finding a Sunshine now.
Yeah, I think if you're a person out there who has been spending a lot of time with like the PC port of Mario 64, buy this game only because it's the right thing to do. Also, you get Sunshine and Galaxy as well. So personally, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time in 64 on the Switch because the PC port is just so much better. But yeah, this is definitely the best version of Sunshine right now. And this is also the best version of Galaxy. Playing Galaxy on Dolphin is kind of jank unless you actually connect a Wii remote to your PC, which is a lot of work. So this is the easiest way to play it.
I can say that the pointer works well-ish because it's no longer connected to the weird ass bar. It's just what's the name for it? It's gyroscope controls, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's connected to how you just move around with the controller. So the problem is that it frequently just drifts off into nowhere. So you have a dedicated button to just reset it. So you have to do that a bunch, but I mean it works. It's just a bit like weird because I'm used to playing Galaxy with one hand aiming. And now I'm using both my hands and it works what I'm doing. So yeah, but it's enjoyable. It's like if you play these games, you're gonna get the same feeling from them. It's the same games.
So what's really interesting about the 64 version specifically is that this is the Shindu. It's called a Shindu version, I think. So way back in the old days when they were releasing this game, there was first the Japanese version of Mario 64 that came out, which had a lot of bugs and stuff, and then they fixed some of those bugs for like the North American and European releases, and then they brought back a lot of those fixes and added some more fixes to a second release in Japan, which I think is called the Shindu version. And this version has a lot of interesting changes from this Mario 64 that we know. One of them being Mario has a higher pitch on his voice in some of his voice lines, which is incredibly off-putting to me. Which that alone makes this not playable for me because it sounds so weird.
Like this is also why he's no longer saying so long about her, but he's saying bye bye.
Yeah, that's also, whatever. By the way, another thing. Everyone is making a big deal about this, but everyone forgets that they also did this in the DS version. But everyone has just forgotten about it, I guess.
Yeah, meme. That's like the only reason. And
let the meme be a meme.
Memes control society, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, for me, that hasn't put in like 50 hours in Super Mario 64 on the PC. I don't really care. It's Super Mario 64. Like the only thing that I do now is that I have this problem that probably I got a lot of game developers get, where they start getting they analyze too much and then get upset about stuff. Because I do that with Super Mario 64. I'm like, why is this a thing? Like, why is who thought 100 coin mission is a good thing? It's awful. Like it's terrible.
I think it's
You're
great.
Wrong. I don't think it's great. And like stuff like that. So like, yeah, that's probably, but that's such a niche problem because not everyone who plays these games are game developers like us. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing Curly is bringing up in the chat right now. The Shindo version also fixed the backwards long jump. You can still do the backwards long jump, but it won't give you give you speed anymore. So in the original version of not Sunshine 64, there was a speed cap on Mario moving forward, but there was no speed cap on Mario moving backwards. So in the Shindo version, they added the cap on Mario moving backwards. So yeah, the backwards long jump is impossible to perform in this version, which kind of basically invalidates this entirely for speedruns. Or at least the speedruns that do use the backwards long jump.
It's bad. That's like most of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people who speedrun is still gonna speedrun it on the Nintendo 64, so I don't think that's a problem anyways. Yeah. So like people playing like speedrunning Ocarina of Time is still gonna do it on the 64. They're not gonna do it on like a re-release or this 3DS version because that's its own thing. So I don't really care. And like if you like speedruns that's more skill based, because let's be honest, no, like backwards long jump is hard. You need a lot of skill for that.
Yeah.
But it's a glitch. So
yeah.
Like if you like more glitchless runs, that's probably something that's gonna come out of this, like your friend is saying. Yeah, there are.
Yeah. So yeah, so Sunshine. Yeah, I started playing it. I played a little bit of it, and I was like, yeah, still don't like this game. I was hoping because I've spent most of my time in Sunshine, in Dolphin because it's hard to hook up a GameCube these days. And I don't know, there's something to playing games in emulators that I don't really like, or just playing on PC in general that I don't like. So I've just kind of like I've tried to start Thousand Year Door like 3 times in the last couple of months, and I just stopped because I just don't like playing it on PC.
I agree with you. It's weird because you don't get the same satisfaction from playing it. It's like a weird because it's on PC. It's fake, kinda.
Yeah, and I even used my Wii U GameCube adapter to play with the real GameCube controller, but it's just I just don't like it.
It's not the same feel. You have to have to play it on the console is an experience on itself.
So yeah, I was hoping that that kind of layer would disappear when I play it on Switch, and I would find some kind of appreciation for it, but No, I just kind of realized that no, it was just not it was just not a good game. Like it's just not good.
Dennis, we need an intervention here, because I'm getting really tired of your fucking Sunshine Twitter hate brigading that you're doing. Come on. We know that
there's been a lot of articles about people being frustrated at Mario Sunshine, and I'm happy that people are finally realizing that this game was never good.
Sorry.
The battle has only just begun. The hate on Sunshine is stride forward.
The thing is, I still wonder if people dislike Sunshine because they wanted a Mario 64 on the GameCube. And Sunshine isn't Mario 64 on the GameCube. Sunshine is Sunshine.
Carl, look, you and Curly would be great friends. You both think I have bad opinions.
I'm being in the neutral side. I think
Dennis have bad opinions.
For me, it's like Sunshine. I think for me, it's like Sunshine. The setting, the graphics, the world is great. I don't like the gameplay. It's like, at least for me, I have like I always I'm such a perfectionist on these kind of things. So when there are these graffiti that you have to like get rid of, if I see one spot that's not getting rid of, I'm like, I need to get rid of that fucking spot.
Me too.
So yeah, I know that I said before that I realized that there are only 3 good Mario games or 3D Mario games. I still think that after playing this, it's the sad realization that there are only 3 good Mario games. But I can still respect Sunshine for what it is and what it's trying to be. And I can respect...
How can you respect Sunshine and not respect 64?
I haven't said I don't respect 64. I said that 64 is a bad game. And I said that Sunshine has problems because they didn't fix the bad stuff from 64.
Curly, you can at least agree with me on this one, right? Like, Mario 64 is a great game.
I like how I see
two sides. I see 2 sides. One is the Sunshine, one is 64 clashing with each other.
I'm still gonna play through them, and like I'm like.
That's right, Curly. It's a goddamn masterpiece.
Hey, my problems with 64 are vast. But yeah, I still like the games, and I can still try to look them through the eyes of how you designed games at the time. So Dennis, you're a hypocrite, you know, because you're the person that's like, oh, you shouldn't judge a game by the times. You should always judge the games in a normal way.
Yeah, and that's I completely still think that, and I still love Mario 64. Yeah. Some of the movement is a little bit janky. Some of the levels in the end of the game are straight up trash. But everything else is fucking great.
The camera is god awful.
I don't think the camera is that awful. I really don't. I seem to think I seem to be the only one who actually likes the Mario 64 camera.
Yes, you are.
I only have vague memories of me being on that one stage when I was little. I had never.
I'm gonna continue airing. I have. Oh boy.
Even Leo's on my side here.
Yeah, but come on. It's Leo. I'm gonna. The guns are out. I'm just shooting. Yeah.
You have all your guns towards you, and you're pointing your guns like all over.
Yes. It's not a gun per se. It's more like a machine gun. I'm just doing this and just aiming. But yeah, like my problems with Mario 64, if I'm gonna be serious, is like the level design is not designed for the style of gameplay that they choose, the mission-based gameplay. Because every map I played, every world I played are, mission 1, go from point A to point B. Mission 2, go from point A to point B. mission 3, go from point A to point C. And it's that over and over and over again. But every time you collect a star, you get thrown out, you have to save. Mario has to do his fucking cat thing, and then you jump back in and do the game again.
Yeah, but so, that's the point. The point though is that you start a mission and you don't actually have to do that star.
Why throw me out then? Like in my mind, I think of this like they've designed a Banjo-Kazooie level and then just put an arbitrary mission design on it or whatever. That's why the thing is. That's why I say that that Odyssey. I have more respect for Odyssey now because they take the Super Mario 64 design and make it good.
But how is that any different? It's still also just
because it doesn't throw you out of the levels. It doesn't like you don't choose star 1 go to this place.
The thing is like
I watched hey go here like the world is your
the thing is I think they wanted to have the game as it is now in Odyssey. They just had they had too much limitations on the schedule that they had to make the game in order to implement that.
I think the reason why the game throws you out is because the level changes. From some of the stars have changes to them, and
oh yeah, that's true.
I think like yeah, sure, those changes could have been done like in a transition as you're getting the star, but I don't think I think they just didn't really think about that at the time.
That's why I'm gonna say I tried to play it with the mind of this was made in 1998, if I remember correctly. It's when it's dropped, or like it's made during the 90s, so it's
96.
Different technology. 96, a different technology, and like I'm still on the side of earlier game is not gonna have, probably most of the time it's gonna not be as good design wise as now, because you don't have those games that like the pioneers to reference, because those games are the pioneers. So I still respect the game. Like Super Mario 64 is a pioneering 3D. It's like a deep 3D platformer that everyone look back on and say, how can we do this but better? And that's the issue now, that I have played those games that are better. And now I'm playing Super Mario 64.
So Curly's bringing up some more things, like the reasons why they actually throw you out every time. Like TikTok Clock, for instance, changes the pacing of the entire level depending on when you enter it. Wet Dry World has different water levels depending on how high you enter the painting. So some of the levels actually require you to exit and then go back in. So I guess, and I would imagine that when they made it, every level was supposed to have some kind of interaction like this. So that's why they do it. Oh yeah, also, and Little Big World has two entirely different paintings, but you can go between them in the game, when you're inside as well. So
like this, yes, I'm calling the games bad, or the game bad compared to what I have now. But if I'm looking back at what I had then, no, it's not bad. Then it's a masterpiece because it's the only 3D platformer at the time.
I truly believe that Mario 64 is yet to be trounced by anything else.
I personally don't agree, but that's not a surprise because it's you and me, and we're fucking salt and oil, water and oil.
I used to think Odyssey beat it, but since I've gone back to 64, I have changed my mind.
I also am salty because I have fallen off edges due to fucking Luigi shoes enough times for me to say fuck this game. That's also like I'm still a bit tilted from dying after getting 70 coins in 100 coin missions, which I still think are terrible design wise because it's just chasing after sand corns, chasing dust balls. Coins are useless. Why should I find 100 coins when they're like 110 in a level? whatever. And
it's
that's
like
also a thing with...
It's like the sequence in Uncharted 4 when you play Crash Bandicoot in the beginning, and he asks like, what are these fruits for? And Elena says like, if you collect 100, you get a life. 100? Who has time to collect 100 pieces of fruit?
And I've played a fuck ton of collectathons. I played most of them. I like collectathons. I'm just upset about Mario 64 right now. But yeah, the same thing is probably right now, because I don't have a fresh view of it. I still love Banjo-Kazooie, and if I played it now, if they ported Banjo-Kazooie to the Switch, I would probably find problems with it that would make me go, oh, it probably isn't that good of a game. But for the time, it's a really good game, and I respect Super Mario 64 because without it, we wouldn't have Mario Galaxy and we wouldn't have Odyssey.
When you get back up here, I can throw you my Xbox One at you, and you can play that updated 360 port of Banjo-Kazooie.
Ooh.
No, fuck off! I love Banjo-Kazooie. It's that's more of my childhood than Mario. I gotta be honest. I think fonder memory of Banjo-Kazooie than Mario.
Banjo-Kazooie has a lot more personality, but I don't think it's a better game.
I like that your friend Curly said that, because I was gonna praise Mario Galaxy because they took the mission design and actually did it properly, in my opinion. Also, remember, this is my opinion. This isn't like, oh, the game is bad. I'm not Dennis. It's just that Sunshine is bad and people should feel bad. I'm saying I don't like it. The thing about Galaxy is that they design their level design is based around the missions. So
those are linear levels. Like Mario Galaxy,
they are linear levels. That's true. But I'd rather have linear levels for a mission type design than an open level that could be better.
Yeah, I think Galaxy is good in its own right. Like, I think the biggest problem with Galaxy is that Galaxy truly believes that it is a sequel to Mario 64. And I don't think they don't understand that it isn't.
I think, to me, it's like Galaxy is it should be like its own. It shouldn't be like a successor for 64. It should be like its own category of a Mario game almost. Yeah. It feels like it, but yeah.
The thing is, it's not really, because we know Sunshine is the sequel. And that's also the thing. Sunshine has the same problem as 64.
Sunshine has more problems.
No. Yes, well, kinda. It has different problems and the same problems, because it takes the design, the structure of 64, and just makes it worse,
even more rigid.
The thing that Sunshine has over 64 is that the world design, not level design, but the world design is on point.
Oh yeah, the theming and everything is great in Sunshine. Yeah, that's probably
that's the thing that I also
most redeeming quality.
When I play Mario 64, I miss from newer games the theming, because Mario 64 is just they're random levels. Like, where the Jolly Roger Bay, where the fuck? Whom's the fuck? And then like Whomp's Fort, okay then. Apparently it's its own planet according to Mario Galaxy 2. Or whatever. So
oh yeah.
But yeah. I don't agree. The Thinner Plaza is the shit.
Oh, yeah, I can send you later. He made a very beautiful cover of Delfino Plaza.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. You have the same voice when you are and aren't. Because Paper Mario exists, and Paper Mario has like the weirdest lore. But yeah, the thing that I think Sunshine did good though with the mission design is those individual levels that has their own problems, but at least they have individual like challenge type levels that tries to incorporate the gameplay in a better way, in my opinion. I need to say that every time, I feel like, because I have 5 people right now sitting with, or no, even more, sitting with sniper. I was just aiming at it. But yeah, the thing is, Galaxy, I have watched that video that I don't remember his name has made, because people are like, oh, you should watch this video if you like Super Mario Galaxy. The person that like, oh, Super Mario Galaxy is good, except not really.
Oh, Barry Kramer formerly of Game Grumps.
I watched that video, and I haven't watched it recently. It was a while ago, but I remember watching it and thinking, I see what you're saying. I don't agree. So, but that's the thing. I don't really agree that it's trying to be a sequel to Super Mario 64. I'm looking at it as it's trying to be a new way to do the 3D platformer, because until Odyssey, between Galaxy and Odyssey, if we count the 3D World games, which I don't, but let's just take them for example, they have a way more rigid design, way more like linear 3D platformers rather than an open world. That's why I respect Odyssey more now, because they took what the 3D Mario genre should have been and just made it that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've said before, my only problem with Odyssey is the overall structure of the game. I love everything they did within the worlds themselves. I just wish that it wasn't a linear progression between the worlds. I wish that they were open, like in 64, that you could go jump between them and pick whichever one you wanted. That is literally the only change I would make to Odyssey. So yeah, otherwise it would be perfect. We haven't. Okay, yeah, we talked a little bit about Galaxy, but I don't think we can talk about this collection without talking about the fact that Galaxy 2 isn't in it.
Be honest, and people are gonna be upset with me again. When I played it, I didn't really care that much for Galaxy 2, because it took what I liked about Galaxy 1 and just not didn't add it. Like the parts unique, quote unquote, to Galaxy 1, they just removed it and added a world map instead. And I was like, no.
Yeah, Galaxy 1 has so much more personality than 2.
Yeah. And
Yoshi isn't that great. Yoshi makes the pointer a way more core aspect of the gameplay, and just makes it a lot more annoying.
Oh, you just made me realize how is Galaxy 2 gonna work on Switch when they inevitably release it?
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Yeah. Now that pointer will be even more core to the experience. But yeah,
because Majora's Mask is better and Ocarina of Time. But yeah. Anyway, like Galaxy 2 is just, yeah, like you say, it doesn't have as much of a personality as the first Galaxy. And the thing with the first Galaxy is they tried to have a more story, not necessarily based on Mario and Peach and Bowser and whatever. It's like a more story based on Rosalina. And Rosalina in Galaxy 1 is a genuinely interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, Rosalina is the best character in all of Mario. Like, if you look at how from how the characters have been characterized and developed, like Rosalina has way more character development than anyone in the Mario series, or at least in the main
outside
series.
From Paper Mario. Outside of Paper Mario.
Yeah, outside of Paper Mario and like Mario and Luigi. So yeah, they definitely like Mario Galaxy has a lot of heart, and a lot of just good feels to it. Galaxy 2 is, apart from Yoshi, is probably technically a better game, but it just doesn't. It feels soulless.
It feels like it feels like Nintendo took Mario, put him in a slingshot, and threw him away in another game.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
And the weird ass fucking replay that you have to do with the green stars that's just randomly placed in the worlds, and it's one green star for every main mission.
Oh yeah, that is the worst part about Galaxy 2.
And you have to do that to unlock the last level. And the last level is something that if it isn't released on the Switch, I'm probably never gonna play. Because I can't be arsed going back to my Wii. But yeah.
My theory is that there is a time limit on 3D All-Stars, and I think when that time limit ends in March, they are going to drop this collection, and they're going to release 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy as separate games, and then also release Galaxy 2.
I hope that, because
and hopefully they release Galaxy 2 as like an expansion or something for people who have the collection.
I wouldn't hold my breath, because I already think it's shit that they're doing the whole limited edition kind of deal.
Yeah, but at the same time, they also did that for the original Mario All-Stars back on Wii. So I think it's kind of like a theme. Like it's kind of I think they kind of see it as a like this as a celebration thing. Like, oh, it only exists during the celebration. But yeah, I also think that it should just be available at all times. But maybe they just have plans to make it better. Like maybe more 64 and GameCube and Wii games are coming to Switch, and this is and that means that the reason why this collection won't be sold anymore is because they will be placed into the library of the other games. Because there's some data miners looked into the code of 3D All-Stars, and there are references to games like Perfect Dark, and Donkey Kong 64, I think. Some other games.
So what you're telling me, there is hope for a fifth re-release of Twilight Princess.
Oh boy.
Or is it sixth?
Yeah, boy.
I don't remember.
Yeah, boy, give me that shit. I want it.
I mean, if we're getting a re-release of Twilight Princess, I hope it's the Wii U version.
Yeah.
Not the GameCube or Wii versions.
That's what I said like a year ago, that when we inevitably get Mario Party 2 on the Nintendo 64 Online, we need to play it. And we need to destroy our controllers. Because that game hates controllers. The Nintendo Mario Party games are interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hope the 64 comes to like the Switch Online service sometime soon.
Yeah. And GameCube. We need more. Like, for some reason they hate their GameCube games or whatever, because they're never re-released, and those are some of the best Nintendo games.
It's like I never owned a GameCube, and I curse my parents for never getting me one ever. But there are so many games in GameCube that I always wanted to play but never got the chance to play. Especially, but there were some games that I got the chance when we got the Wii, because the Wii you could play GameCube games in the Wii. But other than that, it's like there's so much games I haven't played yet for the GameCube, only because I never had a good console. I was probably too young to even understand what other games there were, except for the games what my neighbor had when they had a GameCube.
Yeah, it like you're right, Carl. Like it really seems like they just don't like the GameCube, because I think like we've only gotten like 2 GameCube games be re-released, and that's like Wind Waker and Sunshine, and I think that was entirely just removed from the fact that they were GameCube games.
Wasn't Wind Waker just re-released literally as a technical test for the Wii U? Because they're like, oh look, we can put a shader on Wind Waker, and people were like, oh, it looks good.
Yeah, my God. Yeah. The reason why they made it's interesting because the Wind Waker HD is actually made by the core Zelda team, while Twilight Princess HD was done by like a third-party porting company. But yeah, the reason why we got Wind Waker HD was because they were just testing out. They were trying to find which art style to use for Breath of the Wild. and they just basically ported Wind Waker to see how it would look in a modern engine, and then it just looked gorgeous. So they just released it. I think they only worked on it for like 6 months.
And without this Mario Celebration Pack, we would never, ever have gotten Sunshine on a modern console. Like, it wouldn't have happened. Because we're probably not gonna get GameCube games on the Switch, because that's where my pessimistic side comes in. Because we didn't get it for the Wii, or the Wii U, or the Switch. And everyone's like, why not? Those are some of the greatest games.
Hasn't Earthbound already been released on Switch?
No, Wii U.
No? It's not in SNES online? No? Okay.
No.
Oh yeah, no, it's on the SNES Classic though.
It's 3DS.
No, I don't even think it's in the Classic.
Oh, it is on the 3DS.
Oh yeah, it's on the Classic. Yeah, it's on the 3DS. I played it for the first time on 3DS.
Yeah, that I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The SNES games on 3DS only works on the new 3DSs.
Nintendo is weird. God rest the 3DS, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, the 3DS was discontinued. And they wiped its existence off the website like it never... like it was never a thing ever.
So weird, because the 3DS was one of their... 3DS was huge. Like the DS, just... The DS was the Game Boy on crack. And the Game Boy was... And it's really good because it's how games became portable.
Yeah.
And that's what the Switch is. It's just a combination Wii and 3DS, but like with updated hardware. It's getting late because I'm starting to slur.
Yeah, I mean we're basically done at this point.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, because I didn't mention the pointer thing. It works well enough. I mentioned it to you guys. At least I might have said before, but at least I can say it again. The pointer for Galaxy in the re-release, it works well enough for what it needs to be.
Cool. I wanted to mention something that Curly mentioned earlier in the chat. Did my mouse die?
Something has to die on your side.
Okay. This is interesting. I guess I have to charge it. But yeah, no, he talked about Zelda. I think next year we're probably going to see like all-stars, or at least re-releases of the Zelda games. I don't think we're getting a collection because Nintendo, they wouldn't have to. But yeah, I do think we will finally get Wind Waker HD again
on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, we'll get Wind Waker HD. We'll get Twilight Princess HD coming back from Wii U. There were also rumors about Skyward Sword HD, which makes sense.
Oh god.
And then I think actually Skyward Sword HD would probably work better on Switch than it did on Wii, because the motion controls are better this time around. So
it's gonna be gyroscopic.
Yeah, but it was gyroscopic in that one too.
Was it?
Yeah. It feels different from every other Wii game because it was motion plus only. So yeah, we're definitely getting those. We're probably ending the year with Breath of the Wild 2.
Please.
And then maybe we might get Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But I doubt it. If we get them, it's going to be the sad thing where we get the original N64 versions ported to Switch, and Nintendo is just gonna act like the 3DS remakes never happened.
They're gonna
like they did with
this 3DS remake for Ocarina of Time was good. The 3DS remake for Ocarina of Time was good. The Majora's Mask one was not good.
It seems like they did go a little bit too overboard with what's the 3DS? Yeah, it seems like they went a little bit overboard with the Majora's Mask remake, but the Ocarina of Time remake is a good version of that game.
Wouldn't it be fun if it turned out that they like in January they throw out the Zelda Direct, and the first thing they show is a Zelda 2 remake?
If there's one single game in the entire Zelda franchise that needs to be remade, it's probably that game.
Yeah.
I think we might get Oracle of Seasons and Ages remakes in the style of Link's Awakening. And it would also make a lot of sense because the Switch is also a portable system.
And Link's Awakening was a good remake.
Yeah, my only gripe with it was the fact that they only allowed you to do 8-directional movement, which feels so backwards after we've played Link Between Worlds, which is so smooth. So that was my only gripe.
Oh, give me I want a Link Between Worlds for the Switch.
Oh yeah,
that would be hype.
Link Between Worlds is the most underrated Zelda game ever made. It's so fantastic.
How is it underrated?
It's underrated
it's
because
like everybody loved it.
Yeah, but okay, underplayed. Basically, everyone who plays it loves it, but there are so many people who haven't played it.
I'm so sure about that. I don't know. Well, it wasn't like...
Curly never played it.
How dare you?
That validates my claim.
I'm upset through Dennis now, because I can't be upset on a person I don't know. I'm sorry. But I'm upset through Dennis because he knows you. It's a good game. It
is fantastic. But I do think if they did a straight port or just emulated version of Link Between Worlds, it would work. But I think the big problem, actually, if they were to do a remake or just kind of do the same game with like better textures and models and whatever, the portals would actually cause a loading issue because the assets would be a lot larger and load speed wouldn't be massively different between the 3DS and the Wii and the Switch. So going from Hyrule to Lorule would take significantly longer. So that's a scenario where we might need an SSD on the Switch.
I don't think, like, let's be honest, if they ever would port, I doubt they would. But if they ever would port that game, they would just upscale it and then put it on the Switch. Yeah. They wouldn't do any real effort.
Yeah, it's hard, but there are so many 3DS games I want to Switch. I want Luigi's Mansion 2. I want Link Between Worlds. I want Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yes.
I want both of the Zelda remakes. So many 3DS games. Anyway, on that point, maybe we should end this. We've almost gone for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So that's it for this episode. Where can people find where you at, Carl?
My Twitter. You search my name. I will never give out my last name, but if someone managed to find it, good on you.
Okay.
I don't have an online presence outside of this, I guess.
Okay. Leo?
Yeah, I guess if you want to follow me on Twitter, do that. I'm not that active. Maybe not active at all, but feel free if you want to. I'm also gonna start my own podcast called Meteorcast. We're gonna talk about RPGs, and also I'm gonna play RPGs while we talk. So and it's gonna be live. So get excited for that. I will send some links to Dennis if he wants to support it and add it to the video when it's uploaded. and all that. So that's it for me.
Cool. Yeah, you can someday when the time is right.
Yeah, when the stars align.
When the planets are in whatever it's called.
Yeah.
When the planets aligns and and there's an eclipse at the same time.
So you can follow me at Dennis_Lofgren on Twitter. Please follow me to get all the hot takes about Super Mario Sunshine and truly understand how bad this game is. I'm over exaggerating. It's not that terrible, but it's still not good either. Play my Super World in Mario Maker 2. There's a video. There's a trailer for it on this channel. Please go play it. I spent a lot of time on it. 30 levels designed to follow Nintendo's level design philosophy. 30 levels, 6 worlds. It's essentially a full Mario Maker game. Go play it. Yeah, go play it for Super Mario Maker 2. Yes. So thanks for listening, and
Lily's freaking out right now.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.